I'm a little visually biased towards the converted plastic. So
yeah. It's super fun.
Yeah, so seeing this and so Graydon,
Yes, yeah.
And Adam,
Yes.
and whose army is this?
This is mine. Yeah. This is mine.
Well, first off, whoever set this up is really nice.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it's very lined up. I see them all like clumped together.
Yeah.
Quite beautifully. So can you explain the conversions?
Yeah.
That I'm looking at here.
So these are the Meyerland Reavers, is what I call them.
Meyerland Reavers.
Meyerland. Like a mire, like a bog. Because if you'll notice, a lot of their bases are converted up to be like swamp kind of stuff. Like they're trudging through mud, through like still water.
That reminds me of Fallout. The Meyerlers.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So right here, their leader, right, Baron. What I call him, Baron Vernon Dreg. Right.
Vernon Dreg.
Yeah.
Okay.
His model is actually the old Forge World Reaver Princeps, and then I just kit bashed him with a couple of stuff from Perry Miniatures, some old Empire bits for the flail.
Here, come get a look at this, Ted. Look at this.
Some plasma.
Do you mind if I touch it?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely. Some plasma from Victoria Miniatures.
I see the.
Yeah, that's versatile terrain. They make great nameplates, so go check them out.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty fun.
So
he dies almost instantly every game.
I mean, is that his MO? Is that like if he doesn't die, it's not a good game?
Yeah, he comes back every time, but he slinks away into the swamp. You know? So
as a true mire lurk, or as a mire.
And then I got this is actually an old inquisitorial acolyte who I'm running as a rogue psyker when I feel a little traitorous, when the militia go a little traitor. So
I mean, you got to feel a little traitorous from time to time.
A little bit sometimes. Yeah.
You got to lean into it.
Oh yeah. And he summons demons, which I did not bring, but they're the old Merce miniatures, like bog beasts, I think they're called. So
that's a combination of a bunch of words I like hearing.
Yeah. He has a good time with those guys. The banner is Empire, I think, swordsman kit.
Okay.
And then the guys behind them, behind the command group. Here? Yeah. Right there we got one squad of grenadiers. All right. And they got assault needlers, which is kind of a unique weapon for the Horus Heresy 2.0 for militia. Two guys at the end got plasma guns from, I think those are from Victoria Miniatures as well.
So this is a Horus Heresy army, yes?
It is, yeah. Horus Heresy 2.0.
Okay.
Yeah, Imperial Militia. Sometimes they cosplay as Solar Auxilia, but not often.
I love how you're saying they cosplay. So it's like meta of a meta.
Yeah.
And they'll have so many like Empire bits in the Horus Heresy army.
Yeah. It's like a feudal / World War I vibe, I think, is what I was going for. Because I don't have a lot of armor, as you'll notice, right? Not a lot of tanks. Mostly just like stuff that can crawl like crabs, kind of through, like Mirelurks, right, through the swamps.
I love how you say you don't have a lot of armor, and I'm looking at it, it's like half of it's armor. So it's like, I guess it's all relative, right?
Right. I guess not a lot of like Lehman Russ. I have like 0 Lehman Russ tanks, which for any militia players will know that's probably the best unit in the list. But I don't have any of them because I'm going for theme with these guys. Not a lot of that. I don't have a Malkador yet, but work in progress. So a lot of like boots on the ground, big squads of infantry, kind of like World War I. Just big squads of riflemen.
Kind of like a trench crusade type.
Yeah, trench crusade.
Yeah, that seems to be big. Are you excited about that?
I'm super excited about that. Yeah, the writers, the guy who made Mordheim, I'm super stoked for it.
That tickles the brain a bit.
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, the walkers in the back are my sentinels. Those guys.
These back here?
Yeah, those guys are 3D prints from, I think, the Maker's Cult. They're feudal. If you just Google like feudal walker, it'll be probably like the first thing to pop up. And then they just got some like Ogre Kingdoms bits for like the close combat weapons, like the heavy chain swords that you can take on the sentinels. They got some flails in there, which I think are also just 3D printed from somewhere.
These ones?
Can't remember. Yeah, a few of them will just have flails with those, with the chainsword on the other arm. So
from somewhere, I love that.
From somewhere,
I don't remember. Bits
from
somewhere, picked up along the way.
From a bits box somewhere. Yeah. The crab tanks next to them, these guys over here, are obviously the Onager Dune Crawlers from 40K, the AdMech. But slightly kit bashed. They're kind of like my recon tanks, the scout tanks. They got that kind of whip antenna on the top with a Lewis gun, like pinto mount, and autocannon on the turret.
How do you transport that without it snapping up?
They actually just kind of bend around.
What?
So, yeah. They don't break. Yeah.
The moment you did that, like pure cortisol throughout my entire body, like ah. But no, that's cool. That's cool. I love it.
Yeah.
He's like, wait, hold on. He's the only dude up there.
I know. Yeah, they got closed hatch. Yeah, closed hatch procedures.
Crusade. Ooh, and they got some sort of script there.
Yeah, going for the feudal vibe wherever I can on a lot of the transfers. So.
Now, when you say that, are you referring to lore, like if they're from a feudal world?
Yeah, so they're from the planet Bogmort, is what I call it, and it's a feudal world, feral world. They're kind of like they're tithed to the emperors just in bodies, right? It's a swamp world, it's a death world, which has made the people of Bogmort pretty gritty, right, and determined to survive. So they make great soldiers for the emperor.
I love the autumn bits there, and I love how you describe the bodies as tithe.
Yeah.
in the hundreds of billions that they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
they can't produce anything else at Bogmore. They don't got a lot of fancy stuff. So
my body is my currency.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm worth one.
Yes.
Actually, no. I'm probably more like 1 cent.
Yeah. So they don't have a lot of advanced tech, right? The Assault Needler is probably the most advanced thing they got.
What's that?
So these three guys are actually legacy of a previous Militia edition. Previous Militia players will know that you used to be able to take a squad of what they called engine seers, and with them some servo automata. So those guys were my engine seers, which would have their servitors with them, but they got scrapped from the new list. So they're just here kind of hanging out with the tanks. So they don't have a role on the tabletop, but I think thematically they're fun. So they kind of maintain the armor that I do have. So
I got to do the muscle memory thing where I just That's there's converted plastic in front of me. It's a sin if I don't do this.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm just looking at when you look at it like holistically,
right?
It's one thing, and then you pick up each one, and then you realize like the amount of like conversions for each miniature is just nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta love that nameplate in the front of the base, though.
It's fun. Versatile terrain. Yeah, they make great nameplates. You can put whatever you want on there. They got different sizes, different fonts. So, yeah, I kit bashed pretty much everything in here. I do have to shout out Harry over at New Auroran Painting, who did paint like 99% of this. So he's a very talented painter. I sent him all the stuff my wacky ideas, wacky kit bashes, and he just kind of took the rest and ran with it. So he's a very talented painter, so you could go check him out.
Executed with precision.
Yes.
Harry from where?
New Auroran Painting on Instagram.
Auroran Painting.
Yeah. Yeah, he's super talented. These guys are fun. These guys are my Ogre and Brute squad. So they're the old Warhammer Fantasy Famir models that have different bits on them, different 3D printed bits. The chainsaws, I think, are from Cromlech. And then there's also some Ogre bits in there. I think some of them have like these Ogre swords, right, which fit pretty good on the Famir bodies. And then the iron fists, like that guy's got an iron fist as well. So these guys are fun. They're tough to take down. They're the local native species of Bogmort that have been conscripted into the army. So
cool, man. I love it.
Yeah, Famir and Warhammer Fantasy lived in swamps, so I thought it was fitting that they make the models for the Ogre and Brutes for this army. So on the back, a lot of them have I think like black powder pistols, which in the game I run as thunder stubs. And if you watch the battle report that we just had with Josh and Luca, you'll know how clutch those thunder stubs come in handy. So
let's talk about the game a little bit. So
yeah.
What is the battle? It's 10,000 points, yeah?
So we did the first battle on the space station, which is right back there.
So right here.
Yep.
May I?
Go for it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we did the first battle. It's a ZM battle. We did 1,500 points per side. It was a 2v2. I played with Luca with the Space Wolves, and then my friend Adam played with Josh with his Night Lords and Adam's Death Guard. And basically, it was brutal. It was a slog. So the traitors are attempting to take the space station, right?
Yeah.
My militia are backed up by the Space Wolves defending the space station. So that's the first battle report. And then that leads on to the engagement on the ground, on the surface of Bogmort, which will be a 10,000 point game.
So another
big one, yeah.
Wow, just you don't do anything small.
No.
Just if you're gonna do it, you're gonna
go for it.
Yeah, well, you have all this tithe here.
You gotta throw the bodies into the Night Lords.
I agree with the statement. Yep, I think that's a good plan of action.
And we might turn on the Space Wolves if things don't go well.
I thought you were going to say turn as in turn traitor. But
absolutely.
That's for my mind.
Yeah. If things don't go well, we look out for Bogmort.
Bogmort. I love how the best thing about 40K universe is that like with the feudal worlds, you can kind of like do whatever you want.
Oh yeah.
And I love this theme particularly because I remember a few years ago I did the exact same thing with a Fallout theme. Specifically a Fallout theme, and it was like, how can I make my love for Fallout fit in 40K? And I was looking at the lore, I'm like, okay, feudal, okay, good. I can just like make up whatever I want. Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah. You can really do whatever you want with the militia. It's a really fun list to play around with. So, I would say my favorite unit here is definitely the Cav. The Cav are just super fun. They die every time.
What?
They almost never do anything, but they look fantastic. They charge gloriously for Bogmort. They ride the boars from the Savage Orc Warhammer Fantasy kit, which I don't know if you can still get, but and then there's some Perry miniatures bits on there. I think like the legs and some stuff, and then a lot of, if you'll notice, there's a lot of Bretonnian men-at-arms bits in this army. So. Like a lot of the heads, pretty much all the heads for them are from the old Bretonnian men-at-arms kit. That guy's the sergeant. He's got the Polish hussar kind of wing on his back. So yeah, he's got his feathers out.
That's this dude's peacocking, man. Look at that.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna run into battle.
Yeah, he looks really impressive. They all do, and then they just get gunned down.
Is
by
he the first one
bolters.
killed? Like he's like,
oh yeah,
I gotta take out that guy. Like,
every time.
Yeah.
He leads them from the front and gets gunned down every time by bolters. So.
Well, he's following his example, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they all come back every time. It's a miracle.
What does that mean? They come back every time.
Well, I don't know.
It's because they keep on replenishing. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, or it's Nurgle magic. Who knows? Yeah.
I don't disagree. I think that's a good explanation. So New Aurora Painting.
Yep, Harry over at New Auroran Painting over on Instagram. He does a lot of great work. He's based in the UK.
UK based.
So, yeah, he's a fantastic painter.
Well, I'm looking at this tank here, and actually, is that a Death Corps army?
So that's his militia army. So a lot of people will know that Harry has a very famous militia army. Was actually featured on Warhammer Community.
Cool.
In a Warhammer Community article. His is entirely kit-bashed as well. A lot of people will know his militia army from first edition. It's a really impressive collection.
I'm doom scrolling now. I'm getting stuck in this.
Yeah, go check him out. He has an awesome Instagram page. Does a lot of beautiful work, as you see.
Yeah.
So
this is phenomenal. I love those walkers back there. I gotta say, out of the first impression, I walk in and I see those dudes. My eyes are drawn to them, and I think it's because they are the most obviously unique minis.
Yeah.
That stand out.
Yeah, those are from Mordian Tank.
Yes, I thought so.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, his sculpts are beautiful. He does a lot of crawler-based designs.
Yes.
Which I thought fit well with the Onagers and the Sentinels, so I think you go for it. Yeah, I think they're really cool. Mordian does other vehicles, like a lot of tracked vehicles as well.
Now, what does this represent?
So that's a Chimera. So that represents a Chimera. It's got the multi-laser on the top, the heavy bolter in the hull. So that's a transport with the door at the front.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
You can't actually take Chimeras in the Horus Heresy.
You cannot?
You cannot, but thematically they fit in. They look fantastic, so I'm bringing them out anyway.
Well, it's an apocalypse game, so it's like inherently narrative.
Right. Who knows? Maybe it's a old, vehicle they found in the swamp. They just got running. Who knows?
Yeah. No, they look great.
An old colony vehicle or something. So.
It's a feudal world, so it goes, it passes.
Right. You never know.
Yeah.
Technology from the old knight.
71. What does that mean?
It means 71. It's the 71st tank.
Okay.
Because they've blown up that many. They've lost that many already.
So there's another 70 out there at least.
Yeah,
somewhere.
At least somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 here.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Probably the last 3.
But that's like a very specific number out of all the numbers that it could have been.
Right.
Is that significant to you? Or
I think you have to check out the battle report to find out.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there's some sort of narrative significance there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see what you're doing. You're dropping those little breadcrumbs here.
Absolutely. The last big one at the back is the Valdor Tank Hunter.
This one?
Yep.
Yeah.
He's you can still get him from Forge World, I think, from Games Workshop. He's really fun. He just shoots a big laser gun at big, heavily armored tanks. What more could you want?
I mean, I gotta say, that looks very similar to certain guns that I'm used to seeing on Titans.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, usually they come in 3s.
Right.
This is, I mean,
This is
any one
Yeah.
is terrifying. Like
Yes.
So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we call him the Iron Duke. He's got a little transfer on this side that shows it.
Iron Duke. Yeah, I like the World War I vibes, just in general across the board.
The trench rails on the back, yeah.
Trench rails, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's the function of those?
I don't actually know. If I had to guess, and this is just a guess, I would say like when they're rolling over the trench, it keeps the tank from falling in the back, I would assume. Kind of keeps the tank kind of rolling across the trench.
Okay.
So.
I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense, as considering the mud.
Yep.
It's like the clues left over.
Yep.
Very cool.
Yeah, and this kit is actually coming out in plastic pretty soon. They just revealed that, so.
Well, that's good, because this is particularly heavy.
It's all resin, a pure resin brick right now.
Crack a skull, you throw it at someone's face. How much do you want for this army?
Oh, we'll talk later.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I always joke when I say it, unless you answer with a serious response.
Yeah.
And then we're having a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a dangerous question because
it is a dangerous question.
Dangerous answers might happen. Wow, that's phenomenal.
I think we got to get a look at these guys too.
These guys here?
Yeah, these are one of my favorite units as well.
All favorites.
They're all favorites. Yeah, I know it's hard to pick, but these guys are really fun. The boarding shields don't actually represent anything in game, but you got to have the shields if you're going to run a feudal army, in my opinion. So those are Bretonnian men-at-arms, polearms, halberds, whatever you want to call them. Pointy sticks, as we call them on Bogmort.
Bogmort, I love that name.
Boarding shields, I believe, are from Victoria Miniatures as well. They make a lot of great bits. They got the wire kind of running down the polearm into like the power pack at the back, so it's like an energy weapon. If you know Star Wars, like vibro weapons, right? That kind of vibrate it really fast and cut through stuff. Like that's kind of the theme. The theme with this. So in the past they were run as grenadiers with augmented weapons. Nowadays they're running as feral world militia with chain axes. So yeah, they're a lot of fun. They actually do surprisingly good amount of work against Space Marines. So
interesting.
Yeah.
See, now you're talking about fighting against Space Marines, and again, I'm listening.
Yes. Yeah.
So
yeah. Who knows what will happen when you bring a regiment from Bogmort? Yeah, they might win the day, or they might turn on you. You never know.
But we can count on them dying and then coming back, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You can definitely count on that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, they got 2 melted guns with the squad as well. Every squad's got a medic.
Yeah, I noticed that. This guy's kneeling down and he's like
reaching into his pouch there for some gauze or something.
Now, is that green stuff? Like, what is that?
No, that's Victoria Miniatures again.
It just comes like
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wow, you got a number of different companies here.
Yeah, I think
kind of bashed together, huh?
Yeah, I think Anvil Industries, Victoria Miniatures,
Mordian, you mentioned.
Mordian Tank, Cromlech.
Wow, so you got 4.
And then loads of Games Workshop different bits from fantasy, 40K, lots of different stuff. Yeah.
And then Forge World as well.
Yep. Yeah, and some old Forge World stuff as well.
So you mentioned 7, and we think in corns. So is there one more? Is there an 8 here somewhere?
Yeah, that may be.
Yeah,
Maybe.
Maybe it's the company that came up with the leaves on the bases. Right?
Yeah.
We got to
Corn
make
leaves.
it. We got to make
call
the
them
corn
corn
leaves. Yeah,
leaves.
that's
Yeah.
why they're that color, right?
Right. Yeah.
Corn flakes. I see what you did there.
Corn flakes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is great. It's a welcome distraction to the other busy things that we're doing, which is also looking at miniatures upstairs. So it's like, okay,
Ooh,
all right,
yeah.
this is so cool. I think it's also like the sheer amount of minis is it's the immediately impressive thing where you walk in, like you walk anywhere and you see this on display. And then second is like the cohesive color scheme. Anytime there's an army where they're all like deliberately painted in the same theme, you know that there's like a good narrative behind that.
Yeah.
It's not just, all right, I gotta get them painted for this tournament. No,
Yeah.
no, that's not the consideration.
Right.
No, these guys are from a specific place.
Right.
They're from their specific purpose in their function, and then it's also the variety, right? I see the different. I block it out in the different shapes. I'm like, okay, I see the armor in the back, even though I know you're saying you want more armor.
I do want more
I
armor.
see it in the
Yeah,
back, and I
need
see
more
all the
armor.
bodies in the front. But it's also like the mid, in the midsection here,
Yeah.
where you have like kind of the cavalry and
Right.
and the walkers too. Like it's just, and then you're even going like in the very far back, you got the scale.
Yeah.
And so it's like kind of like
space station,
everywhere
yeah.
in between. So
I do also have at home a Battlefleet Gothic fleet that represents their fleet above the planet. I just didn't bring it.
Oh well,
Yeah.
See, I
Should have brought it.
that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense.
So the next step is to get an epic Legionis Imperialis scale army for these guys. But
That's the next step. That's the next evolution.
Step. The next
Yeah.
evolution. Got to have a tiered system. Yeah.
You got to go
Yeah.
all scales.
Oh, absolutely.
On this one, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have an Instagram? Do you have?
I don't. No.
You don't?
No, I don't. I should get them out on there, but you can check out pictures of this army over on Harry's Instagram. New Auroran painting. So.
Yes. I'm gonna take some pictures.
Yes.
And then
Absolutely.
send an invite to Harry, see if he accepted. Because this is really cool, man.
Yeah.
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 like
He does. He did a great job.
This is all like this is why I think this is for me anyway. Like I see the minis and that's what gets me fired up.
Right.
And then the story behind it is just super cool.
Yeah, like I think anyone that plays Militia, it's like a labor of love because like this army definitely took me about 2 to 3 years of just gathering bits and kit bashing.
You assembled, so you did
Yeah.
the assembly work on it? Okay,
Yeah.
So
like kit bashing and assembling took like 2 to 3 years.
how much time do you spend scrolling, like looking
Oh,
at the
God.
different options? Is that it's like
Endless.
going through Netflix and like you
Endless,
spend like
yes.
5 hours and then
Searching
to watch
every-
a 30-minute thing?
Okay,
Okay,
searching
so
every website everywhere just to buy like this guy's legs or something, right?
The real
Yeah.
question is how many articles or STL files does he send me?
Oh god. Yeah, that too.
Okay.
He doesn't own
He's
a
my 3D
3D
printer.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's all part of the process here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, hey, can you print 50
Yeah.
of these heads, please?
Yeah.
I see.
That's for an upcoming Militia project. Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah, but then
Another
basically,
breadcrumb.
yeah, and big shout out to Harry because he took on a big project. I basically kit bashed everything and then sent him an entire army and was like, hey, will you paint this for me? So, and he did.
Nice.
So,
Nice. Well,
Yeah.
fantastic having you guys here. Yeah. And look forward to seeing the Apocalypse games that
yeah.
these are a part of.
10,000 points.
We'll provide links to that. This is all part of the same. So if it's showing up in the algorithm, it's going to probably pop up. Heck, it probably predicted that it would pop up anyway, the fact that you clicked it. And if you have come from the APOC game, yeah, just a bit of a background explanation of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So
Could I shout out my
Do it.
Facebook group?
yeah,
Cool.
let's do it.
So Santa Ynez Warhammer, Warhammer Horus Heresy. Santa Ynez is where I'm based out of. Ynez spelled Y-N-E-Z. It's about 30 minutes north of Santa Barbara, if you're familiar with where that is. So if you're in the area, just send me an invite, and we'd love to grow the group over there. So
Excellent.
Yeah.
If you have tanks, all the better.
yeah, I'll get more tanks.
All right. Cheers. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Thanks.